Hello everybody, this is Marty P. Hill with Sweet Science Fitness Boxing Club, daily boxing tips and techniques. Today we're going to work on shadow boxing. I know shadow boxing for the competitive boxer can be something that is a great warm-up, great introduction into your boxing training and your boxing workout. We tell our boxers here in Atlanta that the shadow boxing opportunity is one of the few times in boxing when you really get a chance to be picture perfect. Everything you do, all your motions, all your movements should be very fundamentally sound and be picture perfect. For the inexperienced boxer, shadow boxing can become somewhat of a strange thing. It's a kind of foreign concept for someone to be punching without hitting a real object, whether it be hitting one of the bags or sparring, hitting a person or hitting the focus mitts. So to take a person who's never boxed before and put them in a situation to box an invisible object can be a challenge. So we're going to talk about today how to make your shadow boxing a little bit easier. One of the concepts that we use here at Sweet Science Fitness, how we get a person to start shadow boxing, is we like to equate it to, say, deep sea diving. Okay, deep sea diving. When you get ready to deep sea dive, you go out to the ocean, you don't just hop in the ocean and just start diving down to the bottom, right? You want to make sure, number one, your equipment is properly secured and properly set up the right way before you even get off the dock and get into the boat. Number two, when you get out there to the ocean, after you check your equipment, then you want to kind of get into the water, maybe put your feet in the water a little bit to make sure the water is, not too cold, make sure there's no sharks or piranhas in the water, make sure the water's safe to get in. And then once you hop in the water, you kind of make sure that your equipment is still nice, sound, and secure before you start your dive. Number three, you start your descent to the bottom very slow, right? You don't rush to the bottom of the ocean. Number one, because you can't see where you're going. Number two, you don't know what's down there and or around you. And number three, you want to make sure you take it nice and steady to someone even enjoy the trek down, all right? Then number four, once you get to the bottom of the ocean, you get a chance to enjoy all the scenery and all the beauty that the bottom of the ocean has to provide. You also got to make it back to the top because now your oxygen tank or your equipment or whatever creatures that could be down there and around you are now swimming around, and you want to get back to the top, to the boat, to make sure you're safe. So when you shadow box, follow those same exact kind of four concepts. Number one, your first round is your safety round. You want to kind of stay still, stay in place, and just work on your basic punches in the mirror, okay? A proper jab, elbows are in, proper right cross, straight shot, making sure that proper pivot. Left hook, 90-degree angle, right uppercut, right elbow above the left knee, left uppercut, left elbow above the right knee. Staying in place, just kind of getting nice and warm, basic shots. That should be your first round of your shadow boxing. Nothing fancy, not a bunch of moving, just making sure your equipment is safe and sound. Number two, then we get into the ocean with our equipment, then we hop in the ocean, check the water, make sure our equipment is sound before we start diving. So you're round two of shadow boxing. You loosen up just a little bit, but more so important, you're making sure your hands are up. You're making sure your head is moving. You're making sure you're in an athletic stance. I'm not jumping and dipping and bipping around. I'm just making a couple of more necessary fundamental adjustments before I start my dive. One rule of thumb, round two, for every punch you throw, make a head movement. Jab, bob, bob. Right cross, slip, slip. Jab, cross, slip, slip, bob. I throw one punch, boom, I throw one head movement. I throw one punch, boom, I throw another head movement. I always add something in my round two. But what you don't see me doing is swimming around just yet. Round three. Again, like we mentioned before, I start making my descent down to the ocean bottom. I'm now swimming down. Now I can start increasing more activity, more head movement, more shots. Move my feet slightly with my punches. Now I can loosen up just a little bit more. I can turn a little bit. I can loosen up just a tad bit more, but not too much, all right? Now, round four, I've made it to the ocean bottom, I've got my treasure, I've seen everything I need to see. Now I can start increasing my pace, my rhythm, doing things a little bit faster, more movement, and incorporating more things as I'm swimming back to the surface. But at the end of the day, I want to get back to the surface with all my treasure, with all my body limbs, back on that boat, and had enjoyed my trip. No different than how you should look at your rounds in boxing. Round 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there's a good blueprint for you all at home on how to kind of look at doing your shadow boxing, equate it to deep sea diving or a long road trip, kind of build it up from round 1 to 4, and you'll learn how to enjoy shadow boxing a little bit more. Stay tuned to our channel for daily boxing tips and techniques here at Sweet Science Boxing Club with Coach